In the lower levels, you focus on more concrete, specific things. So phonology, the first thing that bothers a learner of a language, we just say how much time they use. They spend more time on phonology, or let's say they should. But we're talking about successful learners of language, not people who don't learn the language. But we're not talking about students, we're talking about learners. Right? A learner of Chinese, will spend, or any language basically, will spend more time on phonology in the early stages. That's where the brain is trying to grasp, here, I have learned one sound system, now I have to learn another one. Damn, So it concentrates a lot of time. And then the next thing is vocabulary, item by item, and then sentence patterns and things like that. And each of these things are very kind of discrete. But as you go up, then these things expand to other things. Cultural interaction, social adaptation. In what I would say in many ways, looking at the world in a way you're not accustomed to looking at it. We'll talk about what we call, changing your second language or worldview, how that works. When we say learning model instruction, sometimes we call that learning model instruction, and I also will call this item-based. Item-based instruction. Okay. Either way, what this means is the pedagogical design is there for you to teach someone to go through the language item by item by item by item. Especially, let's take, let's look at starting at zero knowledge. Now, a lot of places, there are a lot of programs that don't start at zero knowledge, right? If you're at UCLA and you're taking Chinese, there are probably relatively few zero knowledge people in the class with you. Because they've got huge heritage learners, they've got huge communities. Columbus, Ohio, our assumption is, okay, Columbus, Ohio, the assumption is if you're in a class, you've got zero, you start with a zero level. That's not always the case. What we do is we have individualized instruction program, and so the individualized instruction program, it gives a way for heritage learners to go and get credit and work through quickly and not disturb, because if you're learning a language and the person next to you is chit-chatting with the teacher in that language, and you're like, I don't even know, that's very discouraging, right? If you're mixing different levels of ability, the person at the lower end is always having the difficulty. Mostly. So learning model instruction, say item-based instruction. It consists of what I would say we traditionally, ordinarily approach to teaching the language. What do we use? For example, if we have learning model instruction, we have pedagogical instruments. What kind of pedagogical instruments do we use here in this? What?
Design materials.
Well, design materials, but let's just say an instrument. What kind, what do we use there? Textbooks. They said textbooks are used, so that's usually, okay. Textbooks or textbooks, I think the term textbook is getting a little obsolete right now. It's hard because, nobody ever just produces a textbook. But textbook, what we might call, computer-based instruction, whatever, that's okay. What else is an instrument you use at that level? Instructors. Ooh, let's not talk. Instructors are not instruments. Instructors are the creative, the soul, they're the base of it. They're not just tools, all right? What else? What other tools do you use in that level?
Dictionaries?
Well, yeah, dictionary you can use. What kind of dictionaries? Well, in this case, it would be Chinese, okay. Chinese, English dictionaries, glosses, all kinds of, online stuff. Anything else? Okay, so we could include that under computer-based instruments, okay? Computer-based instruments. Okay. Anything else? Prompts, okay? Yep. That's a good one. Very good. Anything else? What did you look at yesterday? Teaching videos. What did you look at before that? Yeah. You looked at a schedule. Right? Okay. Not a syllabus or just the schedule, right? At the bottom level, usually step by step by step by step by step. Item by item. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Schedule. Anything else you can think of? Well, you have tests. Yeah, you have assessments. Right? And those can be tests like we did today. These could be exercises, right? Okay. Anything else? Well, we will talk about later, we would add in here, we would add things like performances, games. These are discrete things that we use and we organize for students to kind of learn their way through this item-based instruction. So, but a Chinese, a beginning learner of Chinese, everything he or she knows has to be learned. The item, the sentence, the vocabulary, the pattern, the dialogue, the story, everything is a new item. Okay, so items can be all kinds of things. For example, dialogues, that's an item. Story, that's an item. Sometimes we try to make those come together. Any other items we use? Okay, sure, you can do it. That's any kind of performances of any kind, which could include songs and poems, that sort of thing. Of course, but what we might just say is narratives. That's it. Okay, narratives. Sometimes we try to do. But every one of these things is an item. And our job as teachers or as program developers is to take all those individual items and organize them into a program of learning and a program of teaching. Okay? So all of these things add to our program.